Alright, welcome everyone. My name is Paula Phillips, also known as JournalArtista, and it's Wednesday night. Shout out to those of you who may be watching on YouTube. This is a live show, so if I'm talking to other people, it's my friends in the box. You're more than welcome. Check out the link below. We'd love to have you too. So tonight, I thought I would do a little review of this book, and then we'll do a project out of it. Take a sip of coffee. So glad to see everybody tonight. So anyways, this is Flavor for Mixed Media, a feast of techniques for texture, color, and layers by the wonderful Mary Beth Shaw. Mary Beth has more than one book. This is her second, I believe. So this book is laid out, I need a side copy. This is a book, it's laid out, she calls it a feast. So it's kind of like a cookbook, right? In the contents, you got color, texture, layers, flavors, combinations. So she looks at different attributes to art in different sections. But how she has it is that, and there's recipes all over, a little bit of preparation. Like this is actually vanilla sugar cookies. So there's like recipes for food as well as, you know, art, which is fun. And another thing she does is feature guest artists. So, you know, every section has multiple guest artists, and then, you know, it shares there. This is Misty Mon. It has a little, you know, an interview of her, Misty's favorite sandwich, the veggie Reuben. So there's a recipe there, and some about her process. And then Mary Beth Shaw, you know, is inspired by the guest artist and does some of, you know, some step outs of certain techniques, right? So very much step by step, which is awesome. We all like to see that. She calls them ingredients down here. So we have some, you know, what you need to finish this particular page. And also, you know, she has little tips down here. And say if you don't have a certain supply, she'll give alternatives or some other things to try or other tips, which I like. So like what's in your pantry. So there's, you know, so this says, oh, you don't have any clay board, and then give some options of what to use other, you know, if you don't have any clay board. I'll take this out for now, which is nice. Another guest artist, Sarah Ahern Bellamore, and what Mary Beth Shaw did with her inspirations. So I like that. So there it goes all throughout the book the same way. Lots of words, and then step-by-step instructions. So Mary Beth Shaw uses lots of texture. She does have her own line of stencils, of course. Stencil Girl, you guys will see, you know, recognize maybe this tree stencil I've used in the past. I have it up there. So you can also go check out Stencil Girl. Mary Beth Shaw has lots of her products over there. So it's a nice book. It does have some, you know, some nice examples. I love looking at examples. I like to look at this and look at the layers for myself and try to recreate, see how that works. Clayboard is, I don't have any. It's literally, you know, it looks like a canvas or a canvas board, but it's made of clay, so you can carve into it. Hey, Glenda. This is a Collage plate. Oh, I want to try this. Reminds me of what Barb Owen over on Ustream here did on Friday. Or not did, but she had some of those type of plates on Friday that she uses with her jelly plate. So that's kind of fun. So I like this book. That's for sure. If you like step-by-step, you know, step outs, it's a good one for you. Just a quick book. But I like to see how Mary Beth Shaw interprets other people's, you know, style. I think that's kind of fun, right? So she, you know, is Claudine Helmuth, and she interprets in her style, right? Incorporates Claudine Helmuth's style into her work. And I really like that. I think it's nice. So, cool book. have some alphabets. Lots of eye candy and lots of step-by-step instruction. So rather than techniques, right? So many books are based on techniques. This is really, you know, step by step how she created this page. So this particular page is what we're going to do tonight. This one is on page 30 if you're following along. Organic abstract painting. So I'm going to loosely follow this step by step, see what we can get tonight. And so to prepare, this book, by the way, you can obviously get it on Amazon or whatnot. CreateMixedMedia.com. I believe that this is a interweave book, FW. It doesn't say because it's covered up with stickers because it was from, yeah, it's an FW Media book. So you can get it over on FW, like the interweave site, or Amazon, I'm sure. Hey, Vaughn. Oh, we're just talking about Clayboard because one of Mary Beth Shaw, so there's lots of, if you want to, she does use Clayboard a lot. Mine's still showing, so my recording's going, so I'm just going to keep going. I know that if there's Ustream issues or whatever, I'm going to keep going because it's showing that I'm still recording, so. Yeah, we're going to use some alcohol inks tonight. We're going to use some alcohol inks and mix it with acrylics, so it's going to be fun. But she uses Clayboard a lot in this book, and I've seen it at Michael's. You can get it at Michael's. All right, so I'm going to put this off to the side, refer back to it a little bit. Some of what she calls ingredients today, and what I've got here. So she's suggesting use a stretched canvas or a canvas panel any size. I'm going to work in my art journal. So she doesn't gesso the canvas board or panel or whatever. So I'm going to gesso my page because I'm using paper. Right? Hi, Dee Dee. I'm going to have some collage pieces, some gel medium, brushes, acrylic paint, and acrylic inks. Some spray bottles, one with water, one with alcohol. Paper towels, hair dryer, alcohol ink, and some other stuff if you want to add it on the top. So it's saying start by collaging some papers, found papers. So just before I went live here, I gessoed my background. Yes, my brush was dirty, so it is tinted. It's still not dry actually. It's a little bit damp, but we'll be okay. It's a little bit tinted with purple because purple. My brush wasn't clean when I gessoed. I also had a little fight with my Liquitex or FW ink, acrylic ink bottle. The dropper like literally came apart and I had to fish it out. It wasn't recorded, thank goodness. But beforehand, I did take out some of my, I'm going to be using some Liquitex Basics and some golden fluid acrylics. So I wanted to just test out some of the colors that I'll be using over here, right? Like the phthalo, the turquoise phthalo is bluer, than the green. So maybe I won't use the green. Maybe I'll use the turquoise phthalo. Just a quick and I did put this on top of gesso as well. I also have some inks. I have FW, De La Rowney's FW inks, as well as some Liquitex. These are acrylic inks. Hey, Jerry, good to see you. And I also have a few alcohol inks. Now, I did buy some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, or whatever it's called, at the Dollarama, the dollar store, and I have no idea where it is. So I'm being really bad, and I know everyone says not to do it, and thank goodness I'm not a safety manager anymore. Anybody watch the Saturday Night Live? Boy, I've glued this bad boy shut. Did I glue this? I did. Did I glue this? Remember it broke last time? Oh well, I think I glued it and then... This is old, my friends. So I'm gonna put some in a mini mister. Tim Holtz says not to do this. Everybody says not to do this. It's bad. I won't be lighting anything in here, and I'll be very extra careful. So Kanye West, as I'm filling this here, I had to laugh because here's Kanye West doing some crazy thing. I didn't quite I guess I didn't understand his artistic message he was sending. But all I could think of was his safety gloves. He had his cut-resistant safety gloves on with his fingers cut off. And I was like, what the devil? I'm sorry. Hi, Teresa. I know something's happening. It still says I'm recording, so as long as my recording doesn't stop, it hasn't glitched, then I'm just gonna keep on going. So I apologize if Ustream's being a pain in the butt today. So anyways, as a safety manager, I just can't get that stuff out of my head. The first thing I noticed was his PPE that he that he demolished. Okay, so we're following the book tonight. It says that we get some collage papers. Now we all have a ton of stuff, you know, collage stuff. I just found some random things. This is from a book that I made a while ago. You think I just looked at it the other day? I can't find it. Anyways, it already has some light molding paste on it, and I thought that might be interesting. What Mary Beth Shaw did in her example is a lot of circles, and I love circles, so I like that, so I'm gonna do some circles as well. But I thought I could do one circle, you know, with this one that already has some spray inks and light molding paste texture on there. So I'm just gonna wing it. I'm not even going to, you know, pre-draw it. We're just get a wonky circle going. Like I said, this is extra from a book that I made because I made all of the books. I made all the pages of the little book at the same time. So, wonky circle. I also have some random, I don't even know where this is. Crystal Lake, Algonquin. Oh, I have no idea where it is, but thought, oh, it might be nice to have a little road map piece. Now you could absolutely cut out, die cut, trace something round and cut them out. You know, don't have to be circles. Maybe you want to do squares. It's completely up to you. So I'm going to do a couple of these. I'm going to cut out, maybe I'll cut out, fold it, and then cut out two at the same time. Two smaller ones. Yeah, sorry guys. I don't know if it's me or if it's Ustream or what. But sometimes I think if I have problems with my internet, then a recording kind of, the recording will stop too, right? Now that was a really wonky circle. I mean, it wasn't wonky, but now we're getting out of hand. So I think I'm going to do, you know, do odd numbers. I think it obviously dictates on how big your circles are and how big your page is. So maybe just one. I did choose this. I don't know why, because it was the most hot mess of, oh, thanks, Jerry. I'm glad you liked it. My watercolor video, I uploaded it to YouTube today. I'm trying to catch up on uploading my Ustream shows onto YouTube. Alright. So I think I'll have like 3 matte pieces, one of this random ones, and I'll cut this really ugly, really ugly jelly print hot mess I got going on. You know, like my philosophy is make it look random, and then it seems like you did it on purpose, right? Maybe I'll make these two guys a little bit smaller for my page here. So glad to see everybody tonight. I know Survivor starts next week. Trying to find a time for Wednesdays that fits the best for my schedule. This time is hard because if I stream at this particular time, then I don't see Simon. That's ugly. But we're gonna work into it. Work it in somehow. See if we can make it a. I'm starting to think those ones are a little bit too similar in size, but I'm working in a Canson mixed media journal, which I know if you did watch the video where I showed all the watercolor stuff I've been working on, you'd see that I complain a lot about it on working with watercolors, but it's absolutely fine when you gesso and work with, when you're working with acrylics and all of that type of stuff. Alright, I think I'm going to do something like that. I'm going to get out some soft gel matte medium. So we talked a little bit about this last night, about gel mediums. Use the gel medium, the thinner the gel medium for the thinnest of papers. So I've got some paper like this one that already has, you know, light molding paste on it and whatnot. I'm just going to use some soft gel matte. And soft gel, like I said last night, I art journaled for a good 2 years maybe. Over a year for sure, without having any other gel medium other than soft gel. And soft gel, we'll start using it here. Well, it's in between obviously matte medium and regular gel medium, but it's good for papers. I think I just need to find a glue brush here. I'm gonna get a baby wipe to make sure my brush is not. Wipe off my brush. Big Brother, Amazing Race. I love Canadian Big Brother. All right. Simon doesn't like it when Big Brother comes on, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of the soft gel. A little bit on top. One thing I don't do a lot is follow other people's pages or, you know, books step by step, and that's why I kind of really wanted to create a series like this where, you know, I do book reviews and I try. Usually, what I'm trying to say is that usually if I buy a book, I'll look at their techniques and I'll do my own thing with it, or maybe just look at the pretty pictures, but not actually do one of the exercises in it. So I thought, you know, I want to learn. I want to expand my repertoire, so, you know, it'd be fun to mimic what somebody else is doing. And I think for me that helps me learn, obviously, and learn something new. And then later on, it'll be easier for me to incorporate it into my own work in my own way, in my own style. If that makes sense. But sometimes it's fun just to try out what somebody else is teaching or has done. Alright, so this already had a little bit of, well, a lot of spray, and see some of it's moving. It had some spray on it. A little bit of brown. That's okay. We're going to paint our page mostly brown. The colors I'm choosing today, obviously, are the browns and greens. So Ustream has changed a little bit, guys. Just looking real quick. So sometimes I can't see if you're talking to me because the Q and the colon doesn't work anymore. So it doesn't work like it used to anyways. So if you want to get my attention, if you have a question or whatnot, it's always good to put a heart. I like the heart, right? You want to use a sign and a 3. or maybe capitals. If you write in all caps, then I can see if you have a question for me. Because sometimes the chat goes, I try to keep up with the chat at the same time, but sometimes it goes by so fast that that I may miss a question or whatnot. Alright, those are some wonky circles, that's for sure. Alright, there's some pink, so I must have had ink on that one as well. Okay, so I got some random stuff going on there. Put my brush back in the water. So we got a funny looking thing going on, in my opinion, so far, but we're gonna work through it. Take a little sip of coffee here. Right, so the first step that Mary Beth Shaw tells us to make collaging found papers, being sure to brush acrylic medium over the top of the collage parts. And then we're going to use some fluid acrylics to apply a thin coat over the entire piece. Alright. First though, we need to make sure it's dry, so heat gun. I did make these are kind of cool, these little shapes. Maybe that's when I cut the circle down, even though it's got a little cut in it. I might, maybe on the top or something, we might collage those down too. Okay, heat gun. Alright. I hear the dogs barking. That's bad news. Yeah, exactly, Teresa. Teresa is saying that she's addicted to Ustream now. It's been a few years for the rest of us, so welcome to the club. Alright. So fluid acrylics, I have a couple of brands. I got Golden Fluids, and I do have some Tri-Art ones because in Canada they're much cheaper. These aren't obviously the only colors I have, and I buy it in a tiny bottle. They have them in at least 3 different size bottles. This is only the 1 ounce because I figure if I use one of these up, you know, if it's a favorite color, then maybe you'll go with a bigger one. If you don't have fluid acrylics, you can, you know, mix your own fluid acrylic with a polymer medium or a glazing. This is a glazing liquid or some such thing. You know, and like I say, anytime I get my fluid acrylics out, I have that our wonderful friend Les Herger on my shoulder saying, you can make your own. I also have, just in case I wanted to use it, I picked some Liquitex Basics, one in raw umber and burnt umber. So first, let's see. It says have some fluid acrylics. So fluid acrylics are just, you know, a thinner viscosity than heavy body. All right. So looking at, I've got phthalo green blue shade. So these are some heavy, these are some green. I did this before, I'm not sure if I said that already, but I did this before the show to test out my colors on gessoed. This is just my, you know, Cancer Mixed Media art journal where I'm playing around. I have some quinacridone nickel azo gold. So let's see. We'll just throw some out. I'm going to use some raw umber fluid, I think, maybe as a base, and then we'll maybe add some quinacridone nickel azo gold. All right. So I'm going to work, I mean, you can pour it right on your page, but I'm going to work, you can work on a palette or, you know, a reusable palette like from a piece of paper, but since this is taped down, the nonstick mat is taped down to my desk all the time, I just reach for that. I'm going to take a brush. Make sure I don't have too much other color out in it. My water's not the cleanest, which is not the best situation. Alright. So it's much thinner. Fluid acrylics are much thinner than heavy body paint, and therefore a little bit more translucent when you start building colors. Now, you know, I put some gel medium over these collage pieces, so you can always wipe it back, you know, if it gets a little too hairy for you, you don't like it. A little bit of water. So I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I haven't tried it before. So you are experimenting along with me. So a little bit of brown, a lot of brown. A lot of brown. But we can go and wipe some of this back off of the collage pieces, maybe. This is a super wet baby wipe. Like I keep saying, can't be afraid to make a hot mess. Let's see how this goes. So this, what did I say this was? Raw umber. This is a golden brand of raw umber. Let's wipe some of this back. It's pretty dark. Pretty dark. So even though I gessoed, now you're going to start seeing where some of the matte, soft gel matte is. Now she doesn't say, her instructions don't say, using fluid acrylic paint, apply a thin coat, and then dry it. So she doesn't say, you know, to wipe it off, but this is how, for me, when you use a book or you're following someone's technique, sometimes, you know, you just gotta put in your own, improvise. I like that extra look of texture, but we shall see. You can also tell where I haven't gessoed at all. I missed some spots. I obviously was not paying enough attention when I was gessoing before the show, but that's fine. You can tell a dark on the outside where there's no gesso. Guys are laughing. They're laughing at my color of brown. The people in the chat. My choice of shades. Alright. I think I will do a thin layer of quinacridone nickel azo gold here. And I'm not going to dry it in between. I kind of want the, woo! Explosion! This is a time where I want my colors to mix. You know, usually I dry in between colors. That one exploded. But this is fine. It kind of will mix the colors on here a little bit. This will help warm it up a bit. So very, very translucent, right? The fluid acrylics. And you know, to be honest, this is the first time in how long, guys? Oh my goodness. I can't even tell you the last time. I don't think I remember the last time I used fluid acrylics, to be honest. You gotta work through the uglies, my friend. My friends. Gotta have faith. Oh ye a little faith. I feel like it's Groundhog Day. How many times have we said that? Alright, I like that a lot better already. Hey, Annabelle. Alright, I like that. I like that much better already. But see, we're playing around, right? So many people use art journaling and, you know, they're art journalists for so many different ways and so many different reasons. You know, and today what I'm using mine for is to practice some art and hopefully learn something new. If we make a hot mess, that means I'll learn for next time. Maybe I'll write some notes. Well, I'm definitely going to write some notes because, you know, I want to write beside this page. I want to say this is from Mary Beth Shaw's book, you know, Mary Beth Shaw's book, Flavor for Mixed Media, page whatever. You know, I want to have that reference. So that if somebody's looking through my journal later or whatnot, they can see that, you know, I was inspired and followed. Or even me, I can go back and, for myself, I can go back and look at how I was inspired for this page. Alright, little tiny bit off that. Okay, let's dry this bad boy. She tells us to dry now. He done. Yeah, when are you going to learn I know what I'm talking about fitness? Angela. Yeah, Devious Inkwell on YouTube, INKWELL. So this is sticky. The thing with using artist grade acrylics, you know, they definitely have more stickage than using craft paints. Normally I mix them all together, right? I'll use craft paint, artist grade, student grade, everything all together. So a lot of my pages in my art journals don't necessarily stick or won't stick because I've used so many, you know, I've used enough craft paint that I've used enough craft paint that it's just not gonna, it won't stick together. So it's shiny, like this page I use both craft and student grade. These are some older pages. I'm just kind of resurfacing this journal, leaving whatever's there in front and moving on. So it's a little sticky. Be done. Hey, Sid. It takes a longer time, obviously, for artist grade. No, these are artist grade acrylics, so it takes a longer time to dry. Sticky, sticky. All right. It's pretty much dry, I'd say. This is going to be one of those projects. I mean, I already started with my hands fighting with my FW bottle, but okay. They're just getting worse and worse as we progress. Hey, Janet. Just taking a sip of coffee. So happy everybody's here. I appreciate you joining me tonight. We only got a couple of visitors. Everybody signed in. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so when dry, apply acrylic artist ink using the dropper from the ink bottle. Then we're going to spritz with water and allow the water ink to run and drip in a piece. Turn it, all that type of stuff. Okay, so I haven't used my artist inks in a long time, acrylic inks I should say, hence the issues opening the bottle. So one of my quests this year is, rather than treasuring these things, is to use it up. I like to treasure stuff, but no more. I need to use it. But I forget to use acrylic inks a lot. Even though I have a few colors, sometimes I just forget. So I'm going to go with a blue, I think. Let's try a blue first. We'll use some Liquitex. Shake, shake, shake. Especially if you haven't used them for a while. Hey, Joyce. Good to see you, my friend. Okay. So let's see. So I guess the first thing I'll try to do is... No, I don't even know if there's any ink in here. Let's try to get some ink into the dropper. And we'll go around. Let's see, might make a hot mess. I'm barely pressing the top, guys. Like barely pressing the top to have some of this ink come out. This is blue. This is Liquitex ink. This is a Prussian blue hue. Liquitex ink. If you're just joining us, oh my goodness, Frozen, look what I did. Where did that ink come from? Okay, so ink is extra messy. Disclaimer for maybe Jean and some of the other people that don't like. I don't even know where it just leaked from. That's weird. Ink everywhere, my friends. This is going to be a messy day. We haven't even started with the alcohol inks yet. So, we are reviewing the wonderful book, Flavor for Mixed Media, by the wonderful Mary Beth Shaw. She has 2 books out, at least. This is her second one. Alright, so we got a little bit of ink going on. Let us see, let us see. Let's put a... We'll just use this jelly-plated printed journal underneath. This time I will close the rest of my book here. It's already starting to drip. So like I said, she says to use water. So I have, this is a Derwent mini sprayer. I like the Derwent ones. If this is the Ranger mini mister, this is the Derwent. So a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. Sprays just as well. It's almost the exact same top, really. It's just more water. It's small, but it holds more water than the Ranger one. Alright, everybody ready? I put something underneath to catch it. Dun, 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 dun. See what happens. I'm trying to hold it so you guys can see. Alright. You can always add more water, right? So I put a little bit of water. I'll tilt it around. Tilt, tilt, tilt. Let's try a little bit more spray from here. And think of all the different, ways you could take this particular idea, which is just spraying, acrylic inks with water. What if you sprayed the acrylic inks with a spray? With one of your spray inks, such as you know, this happens to be a Moonshadow Mist from Lindy Stamp Gang or something. You know, maybe your dilutions. You know, try it without, rather than spraying with water, spray with one of your ink sprays. Move it back down this way, maybe. That was a lot of ink. And that's another reason I like to play around in an art journal, right? Maybe you can perfect this technique and move it to a canvas. Jean doesn't like the drippage. That's okay. We all have different styles, right? And trying something like this, maybe it's not my style. I want to push myself this year, you know, or what I would consider my style, and push myself, like with watercoloring, to expand. The more you learn, maybe other people's styles, other people's things, I'm going to push myself to try, like say a Claudine Helmuth style, something I haven't tried before. I'm going to try it and see how, and you know, it just helps you learn, right? So then she says to dry it with a hair dryer. So this was a very dark blue, right? Very, very dark blue ink. And maybe if you want it lighter, I mean, this looks half decent so far. Oh, now I'm losing my chat. 1 second. There we go. Yeah, it's nice. I agree too. Carrie says that she likes how it's, the blue is turning into like the ochre type, going into the ochre type colors. Running into the, not ochre, quinacridone. So I'm going to hit it so some of this ink drips off the page, so it might be a little bit loud. Hi, Barb. iStencil has a monthly club? I did not know that. I do know that Stencil Girl has a monthly club. This girl needs a job so I can get into some of these clubs. All right, let's try that. We're going to do more layers, so hey, look at how ugly it started, and already this is pretty cool. The last layer, everybody was all worried, but already it's pretty cool. Heat gun. This may take a while. And if you have a heat gun like this is a craft heat gun. If you're new to watching its older one, you can get some at Michael's. This is my baby from before they put even brand names on it. Doesn't even have a name on it. But you know, you see a lot of these us girls using them and bought in the 90s. But there's lots of them that you can find at Michael's or whatnot. This one blows harder than the Tim Holtz version. I do have a Tim Holtz one. I lied. I don't have a Tim Holtz one. I have the original Tim Holtz one, which looks like this, by Anita's Art Stamps, that I bought many, many years ago, and it's eerily exactly similar to the one that Tim Holtz has now. So anyways, I'm used to having it, you know, a stronger stream of air. I'm trying not to say that. Yeah, so the other one is it's softer air. So it's better for if you're using if you're using embossing powder, you don't want to blow all over the place, then a softer, you know, the other heat gun is good. But I like this bad boy I like this bad boy. Heat gun. So why I mention that is that because this heat gun has, you know, blows harder. Exactly, Linda. You know, it'll still move some of the ink around. See, I think in this particular case though, using acrylic ink, right, rather than when we did some where would that go? When I did that, we were using that page with alcohol inks. 1 second, guys. I think I can find it quickly. I was using the Lindy Stamp Gang sprays, and sometimes your spray inks, right? So we did something similar here, except through the stencils I used a matte medium. But the difference between acrylic inks is that once this is dry, it's not going to reactivate, right? Where sometimes if you're using certain inks, definitely Dilutions and Adirondack Color Wash and that, and definitely some of the Lindy Stamp Gang ones, when you put more and more layers on it, they'll blend together, right? They'll blend together. Now, speaking of which, I think it was Jerry that's in the chat. Lou Jean. The wonderful Lou Jean commented on a video. I was complaining about this book, and in her opinion, this is the Dilutions Journal, the small one. What she said is that the bigger book has better paper. I don't know, but I'm gonna have to check it out. Okay, so like I said, something to keep in mind, if you're gonna use a spray ink rather than a liquid acrylic, like acrylic ink, then you get some mixage, right? Where now, because I'm using an acrylic ink, once it's dry, it's not going to change color. You know what I mean, Vern? Heat gun. So I wasn't careful in sticking some of these down, and it almost seems like the ink has seeped underneath some of those collage elements. Not that it matters. See, look, I just pressed that. Do you see that? I just pressed this, and a blob came out right there. Some more ink. Not sure why. Obviously wasn't paying enough attention when I was using the matte medium to stick that down. So I make sure it's real dry. I told you, I've got brutal. If you missed the beginning, I had a fight with my FW ink. It wasn't recorded. During our pre-chat, I had a little fight with this one. The whole thing came off. The dropper was left inside. It was bad news. Anyways, okay, so the next step, what does it say? Dry with the hair dryer. We use the heat gun. And gently wipe the canvas in some spots using a paper towel. You'll see white is revealed where the ink had previously dripped. Uh-oh. Dry with a heat gun. So we already have it completely dry. I can't imagine that it's going to come off. Let us see. I don't have a paper towel, but I have a... She said dry with a heat gun, but that's bad. That doesn't make any... Even if I wet it... Well, if I wet it, it moves off a little bit. That definitely does. So let's use a real baby wipe. Maybe not this one. It's a little dirty. So it's quite possible that we weren't supposed to dry it completely. It says dry with the air dryer and wipe, and then gently wipe the canvas in some spots. So obviously this is completely dry now. So, you know, and maybe it works different on canvas. So maybe she meant half dry or something. Definitely not going to go down to the white, I'll tell you that, with all these layers we already have going on. So some of it comes off in certain places, but definitely not too much. And in fact, I'm not seeing really any. It probably, because I didn't read ahead, definitely we should, instead of it being completely dry, I think we needed to, I think I needed to wipe off somewhere before it was dry. Or at the same time. Alright, we're going to repeat the process with additional colors. So let us try that. I do have, I think I'll do a little, let's see what happens if we use, this is De La Rowney FW Burnt Umber. What was the question, Carrie? I missed it. I was too worried about looking at, Alright, this time I'm maybe, you know, I put it on the left-hand side, kinda. Well, this one I went all the way around. This time I'll put a little bit on the right. So this time I won't dry it as much, maybe. See if we get, But at the same time, like I said, I'm not doing the exact same process because I didn't start with a gesso. You know, I started with gesso on paper rather than a canvas like she suggests. I don't know why I'm holding on my heat gun because I don't want that. I want to spray a little bit with water. Okay, do the same thing. Everybody's talking about how much snow they're getting. So that's just gonna, that was probably not the best color because it's just gonna blend right in, right? Because what we started with, I believe, was burnt umber, wasn't it? Oh, I'm not on camera, I apologize. Whoop, just sprayed myself rather than the page. Maybe a bit here. Maybe that's why she said use a hair dryer. You know, if you're using a hair dryer to dry something, it definitely takes longer and it's not as hot. Let's try to do a little bit that way, see what happens. A little bit that way. Oh, I like what's going on up here, that's for sure. And I mean, if it's too much, just let it run right off your page, right? It wants to stay there. Sorry, I should have warned that that was going to be loud. Moving around. Wipe up my mat here. Let's see what we got. We definitely got a whole puddle right there. Let me find... I don't have any paper towels in my art room right now, but I do have a whole bunch of napkin inserts. Not inserts. You know, if I use a napkin in my art journal, then you peel off all the extra layers, right? So I definitely have a whole bunch of those extra layers. So it can be quite fun with the dripping. Let's see. Playing around with the drippage, I mean. Take some of that up. Okay, this time let's see if I only heat it halfway or something. See what happens. Heat gun. It's definitely not going to go anywhere near to the white. To white. Alright, so I'm going to add a different color of blue because now we're getting a little bit muddy. It was nice with the other blue. So I'm going to do one more color, then we'll move on to the next step. What does it say? Repeat this process with additional colors. Sometimes I go back and add more acrylic paint as well. Here I bumped up the green and blue some more, added some burnt sienna, and then created more drifts with 2 more earth tones. Now instead of spritzing with water, wait till the ink is almost dry, then rubbed off with a paper towel. Alright, so that's what we'll try next. We'll try with the blue instead of... Whoa, somebody's tweeting at me up a storm. Instead of spraying with water, we'll let some drips and then try it out. Yeah, Teresa, I did. Last night I recorded working on my Midori art journal, and this is the page I did. Looks like that. It's hard to see. It's an awkward size, right? It's definitely challenging working in this book. That was the day before. It's long and narrow, right? Different than what I'm used to. Alright, so this time I'm going to use some pearlescent. I'll use the pearlescent FW liquid acrylic ink by Daler Rowney. Hey, Miko. The heart. Oh, on this page, this is, if you guys remember on that other page a couple streams ago, I used a Tracy Bautista stamp. This is part of the packaging. This is one of her stamps from Stampington.com, the Graffiti Glam collection. So that was just the packaging where I thought it was too nice. I love Tracy Bautista's work, whatever, so it was too nice. So that's why I put it in there. Alright, so let's try some pearlescent blue here. That's what it's called. It's called Galactic Blue, number 112 FW. Pearlescent liquid acrylic. Barb. I got the joke, Barb. Alright, so we're going to let it drip. This time she says we're not going to spray with water. We're just going to have some cool drippage going on here. Let's see. Add some up here maybe. I don't know about this one. Well, let's turn it sideways. So it will move, right? But it takes, without spraying it with water, it takes this sweet time. It takes its sweet time. So I'm not sure I like how this one goes right through the center. So I'm going to take a baby wipe. See if I can wipe it off. Just in the middle. Alright, so she says to wait a bit and then try to wipe some of it off. Let it dry a bit. Let's go back to the book. We're on step number 4. And she's telling us to repeat the process. This is her finished. So totally different, right? She obviously started with a much lighter color on her first background than I did. Okay, I think I can speed this up though with a heat gun. We're gonna heat it till it's almost dry. Then we're gonna wipe some of the paint off. Heat gun. So I'm watching to kind of see where it's shiny. little bit of heat. Now let's see what happens. She says dab it. If you dab it, you only get the... what I'm doing is making a hot mess. Oh, that's not too bad. I'm using a baby wipe because that's what I'm used to. So as I move this, some of the ink is moving around the rest of the page. So, and because this is, I'm going to bring this closer here in a second, guys. It's a pearlescent paint, so there's going to be shimmery and sparkle everywhere. So the point of this step, I think, is to have, only let it set so much so that you have a little bit, you know, you'll see here in a second. Sometimes it's awkward to see how your work when you're using a pearlescent paint. You have to kind of, or if my terrible lighting I got going on anyways, I have to shift my page around a lot. I mean, again, at this point, if you don't like some parts, you can wipe it completely off, right? It's fun to try something new and practice something else. Or where I say something else, I mean a different technique. This page is going to be super shiny, that's for sure. Hey, Sharon. All right. So here is an example. If you only dry it part way, let me get steady here. See how you just get the outline of the drip? Maybe that's better. See how the outline remains, but the inside, we remove the inside? Right? That was a full drip before. It was all paint. So if you only dry it part way, then you get a little bit... Boy, what a glare. What a shiny page I got going on today. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. So let me dry it with the heat gun all the way to make sure that make sure we got it. Heat gun. Now the thing with Ustream is not the best quality, right? I'm not filming in HD because I don't. We love Ustream. It's free, and I'm able to teach you for free through Ustream. But they reserve, if you want to pay big bucks every month, which I'm not in the position to at currently, then you can get like HD quality video. So I apologize if the video is a little, you know, it's good, but it's not perfect. So sometimes it's hard to see, you know, perfect details through Ustream. Heat gun. Man, let me tell you, that pearlescent ink, there's shimmer everywhere. Shimmer everywhere. Oh, yeah. I'm unemployed, CB. All right. Little sip. Okay, so next step, it says we're going to try some with alcohol ink. Apply alcohol ink to some areas and either spread the color around a bit or else let it drip. The alcohol ink gives a vibrant effect that lends a nice contrast. Then it's saying spritz over the inked areas with alcohol. Spray generously and move the canvas to move the paint around. Here we go. So, disclaimer. I put blending solution in a spray bottle. Not exactly safe. So use this. I mean, you see people spraying alcohol all the time, but it's not the safest, right? So, you know, we don't want to sniff it or inhale it too much. You know, this is only going to be a couple sprays. and that's it. But you gotta be careful, right? You don't want to set anything on fire. Don't want to set anything on fire. So, a couple of alcohol inks I've got picked out here is pesto, denim, and espressos. But now that I'm thinking, pesto's too green. Denim and espresso, they're pretty dark, and I got lots of dark stuff going on here. Well, let's try espresso, see what happens. What's the word? I mean, that's what this is all about, right? Yeah, move the heat gun. I'm not gonna be. Yeah, gotta be careful with heat and alcohol. Alcohol sprays. Okay, I gotta hold this up, guys, because man, I got a funny glare going on. It's hard for me to see. All right, again, this is espresso. Let's see. Just go on the bottoms of it, maybe. So you can always add more, right? So maybe a little bit more over here. Whoop! I didn't mean to drip, but since I did that, well, I just have to make it look like I did that on purpose and splot a few more, right? All right. Espresso's obviously a dark brown. That is deep, eh? That compared to the inks, and it doesn't move as much. Okay, here we go with the spray. Everybody, this is what I'm gonna do. Try not to show you my cleavage. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my shirt and put it up against my nose. That would have been bad news. Okay, I'm gonna spray alcohol ink. And she said liberally. See what happens. Now, I didn't put too much in there, so it's already... Oh no, I'm spraying with water! Oh, that's bad news. I was so worried about that was water, not alcohol. Let's dab that up a bit. Dab, dab. Razor frazzin'. Wasn't paying attention. Okay, back again. Everybody cover your faces with your shirt. Don't try this at home. Alright. She said liberally, so... Whew! That's strong. Whew! Whew! Cover my nose. Wow! I think I need double protection. The things we do for art. Okay, I'm not gonna talk like that. I don't even know if it is doing anything. I guess it's moving the alcohol ink a little bit. Now see, I may have messed it all up because I sprayed water first rather than the alcohol. We'll let it drip and see what happens. Right? Maybe I let it move too much. Because alcohol is supposed to do some fun things with acrylic paints, but I'm not sure if it's, I'm not sure if it's doing anything. Let's read the instructions. Okay. Apply alcohol ink to some areas, neither spread the color around or let drip. We did that. And then it says, spritz over the inked areas with alcohol, spray generously, and move the canvas in different directions to let the alcohol pick up and move the paint around. Continue adding and dripping inks until you're satisfied. Alright, well, are we ever satisfied? That's the thing. I don't know if the alcohol did anything. Really. Spraying the alcohol. It said generously, but it's hard, without doing like a comparison, I'm not sure if it really did anything. But see, that's the thing. That's the thing about books, or even what I'm teaching you guys. Maybe not in this particular one, right? Because we're following Mary Beth Shaw, but you have to try it out for yourself and play around. And if it doesn't look like what I created or what Mary Beth Shaw created or whoever you may be watching, I mean, don't give up, right? You gotta try. Maybe it's just, you know, move it around. Gotta try different things. See what works. I don't see any difference with spraying the alcohol on it though. But I could have messed it up because I originally sprayed water and not alcohol. But we're making some mud here now, I think. I don't know about you guys, but we're making some mud. I'm just going to do a little bit of blue, I think, alcohol ink, and then we'll do some finishing stuff. You think the alcohol ink dried by the time you sprayed the alcohol? Yeah, quite possibly, because, and first I sprayed it with water. Sprayed it with, so that was bad news. But the way she writes it in the book is that it's supposed to, you know, interact with the layers of acrylics as well. The acrylic ink it talks about. So anyways, let's add a little bit of the dark blue. This is, sorry, I almost added pesto. I want to add some denim alcohol. You can get, these are made, Tim Holtz Adirondack, made by Ranger. You can get them at Michael's. Yeah, you gotta play around. That's what art journaling for me is all about. You gotta try different things, see what happens. I mean, of course, you know, I like to journal and all that other type of stuff, but sometimes your art journal just can be art, right? I'm practicing. I'm doing a little quick study on this, and maybe I'll do a, you know, a canvas later on or something. So I'm just following my shapes here. Maybe I'll add a little bit at the top. Let it drip down a bit. I like drippage. Obviously not everybody does, but I do, so I let it drip. So, but at the same time, right, just having this book and being inspired by Mary Beth Shaw's beautiful artwork, right, but it also helps you try new things, you know what I mean, or remind yourself of product that you haven't used in a long time, like my inks, right, or my fluid, because my fluid acrylics, I think as we all progress, right, as you're doing more and more art, you get into these habits of using the same supplies over and over because they're your favorites, right? So I love looking at books and seeing how people use things in different ways, and then just being inspired by that. And then it inspires me to use up some of my goodies. Okay, sorry. Face covered. Don't breathe in. I'm not breathing. Still not breathing. Whew. Okay. Whew. That's strong. Whew. Okay, hold my breath again. Whew. Now I'm lightheaded, but probably not from the alcohol leak, but from the hold my breath. Okay, See what I got going, now that I look in the camera. I like what's going on here. We're adding depth and texture. But see up here? I mean, I haven't gone all the way to the top. Now this is overlapped, right? So if I just fold this down, you know, I like to have my patterns touch the edges of stuff. But see, now there's nothing up there, so I might have to add, I'm going to go back and add a little bit of denim to just to the top there. Well, let me tell you, and I'm not sure I've ever mixed alcohol inks with acrylic ink, that's for sure. Yeah, the safety manager in me is just, man. I mean, old habits die hard, but... So there's lots and lots of alcohol on this. Let's see what happens. Not just alcohol inks, but alcohol, right, from the spray. Let's see. Let's test something over here. Is anything coming up? So I'm definitely making lots of browns, that's for sure. Now, obviously can't set my heat gun to this. Yeah, the safety manager in me is definitely screaming. So this is a baby wipe. I'm just kind of... So mine obviously looks totally different from what Mary Beth Shaw did, right? And as the more you play with it... So I don't want you to worry about copying people, because let me tell you, if you're using this type of, you know, when you're playing around with moving stuff and dripping, and you're not going to come anywhere close to what the original was to begin with, right? But it's fun to play. Sorry, it's very hard for me to see because it's very shiny right about now, but this is what I'm looking at. You can look at it straight. So you can see some close up here. Let me put my elbows down to try to stop some shaking. So some of it's, you know, muddy, right? And maybe it's because of the colors that I chose. Even choosing, you know, different colors are going to obviously give you different effects. So it'll be fun to play around with something like that. Alright, this really needs to dry. So I am going to use, let's see. Where's my, oh, my hair dryer's out there. I'm going to be very careful and use my heat gun. Don't try this at home. Definitely don't try this with a paint stripper if you don't have a craft heat gun. I'm going to hold it up high. If I burst into flames, someone called 911. Heat gun. I'm going to go up as high as I can though, right? Just to dry it, but, you know, it's getting some air, but not heat. You know what I mean? Remember, alcohol and heat don't mix, right? So we gotta be real careful. A trainer? Who needs a trainer? Oh, for your dog? You know, and this is the type of thing that you want to try out on different substrates. Mary Beth Shaw was using canvas, canvas board or a canvas panel. I'm using a gessoed piece of mixed media paper. Maybe it would definitely work different on a piece of, 140-pound watercolor paper that wasn't gessoed. So, you know, you can really with just one book or one technique, or you know, there's so many different ways that you can play with it to see what happens. All right. So I definitely use a lot more darker colors than Mary Beth Shaw. So her next step, I didn't use as many light colors as she did, particularly in the blues on the first in the first step. So I think that in some places where she's put alcohol ink or dripping inks into, okay, if you want to add some white back, you can draw with a Sharpie Mean Streak marker. No idea what that is, don't have one, but sounds cool. So see what I mean? She's got this Sharpie. I've never even heard of them. Anyone heard of that? Sharpie Mean Streak marker. It's ginormous. But I'm going to use some white. Instead of that, I'm going to use maybe some cream, white or cream oil pastel. Alright, let's see what I got. That was one thing I forgot to get out before I started. I apologize. I definitely tried to be organized before we started today. Alright, I bought this Sennelier package at Michael's a long time ago, and it was on clearance. And I apologize if I'm butchering that name. Sorry, moving some books now. What? See you later. The book title again. Let's go back to our book again. We want to continue to. This is Flavor for Mixed Media, a feast of techniques for textile color and layers. Oh, what the devil? So again, this is by Mary Beth Shaw. It's an FW Media title, and it's an awesome book. And there is, if you love recipes, there's actual real recipes in here. I mean, there's recipes for art, but then you know there's also her guest artists have recipes for food as well. So Laura's family favorite flour tortillas. So how to make some flour tortillas. So very nice book. Very happy. Oh, here's some of the other more minimalist work that she did. Obviously, light, way different colors, right? And then down here, again, a little bit different. Lots more white. She obviously used some white ink somewhere. Looks like it's white. So same technique she used, just in different ways. Okay, so I'm gonna add, let's see. This is, like I said, a trial set, but apparently these are like really good oil pastels. But I want to see, it was like $7. It was a trial set. I'm pretty sure it was at Michael's. Anyways, that was a long time ago, so it's not there now. So let's see. Add a little bit of white around here somewhere. And I'm just following her lead, right? Mary Beth Shaw's lead from her book. I don't know why I'm using an oil pastel necessarily. I just thought that I haven't used them in a long time. Let's bust them out. They're blendy. Go over acrylic. Definitely, obviously, a mixed media page we got going on. That's for sure. It's hard with this one because there was texture on that bad boy. Already some texture in it. Let me tell you, this page is sticky. I might have to seal this page. Using my fingers to blend. Definitely tricky over here. So I'm just focusing more on the right side of it. There are not many pens that write over pastels without a fight. That's for sure. Either it'll dry it out. Let's see. Make it skip. Make the pen skip. I'm just looking at it myself. So funny. I know I have some funny light going on, and then because it's shiny. Hi, Dee Dee. Yeah, it's fun, and it's awkward seeing it on camera. But it's awkward for me to get it right on camera. So I use that pearlescent ink. Alright. So let's take some black, go out on the other side maybe. It is already dark on those edges. And maybe I don't even need to add any of this because it's already pretty dark from the blue, but so this is definitely, stretching me a little bit. I'm not using any stencils. I'm using acrylic inks that I haven't used in a long time. Using gold fluid acrylics, which I haven't used in a long time. Did I mention no stencils? No stencils, no stamping. Just maybe creating a hot mess. So, geez, my lighting is crazy. Hopefully you can see. It's so hard to see with the glare and then the pearlescent inks. It's good to see look at the camera though, because I got something wonky going on there, right? You can see that ghost of a line. In her example, Mary Beth also uses some black. She's got a few doodles going there, you see? So in her sample, she used way lighter colors than I did. Way lighter. So, when she's adding black to some of these circles here, she needs that black. But I used espresso, alcohol ink, where I think she used, if I look on one of them, I think she used, what is the lighter brown called again? Franzen. The lighter brown. Mushroom, maybe? So it's fun. It's fun. I like it. Turned out nice, that's for sure. Definitely different, right? And acrylic ink, let me see what other colors I got going on here. I have a purple. Maybe I need to buy a cream acrylic ink. I have to put that on my list. Because it's dark. There's definitely some dark areas, right? So the same, they were maps originally, yeah? It's hard to tell. You can just see this one's still a map. It's dark, eh? Yeah, like I definitely, when I was spraying some of the, maybe espresso ink, right? This is what I need, that's what I need to do. Let's find out. Oh, I got a sheet of, I don't remember which one of you lovely ladies sent me this notepad, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some notes. Definitely something I should have done next time was started with lighter colors of alcohol inks, right? I'm not sure. Maybe I should have only used a tiny bit of the espresso, So I'm going to write too much espresso. It turned it too dark, in my opinion. And I should have done, or I could have tried a lighter color of maybe a blue color. This was kind of the same color combinations that she used on her page. A lighter blue in the first few steps. I think that's, right away I went for a dark brown, right? Even though I wiped a lot of it back when I used the raw umber or burnt umber, whichever one I used first. A very dark brown, but maybe I should have used lighter colors at the beginning. Have I been paying attention? Sorry. Yeah, you can try this out, save up some money or whatever if the book interests you, and get the rest of the book. When I do these reviews, I'm not gonna be doing every. How many projects are in this book? Let me see. A lot. 1, 2, 3. I don't know, 20 or more maybe. In the next week we'll go on to a different book and try out something different from a different book. So definitely go. This is I really like Mary Beth Shaw, obviously. I love Stencil Girl. And go check her out. I really like this book. She has 2. What is the other one called? Let me just double check here with the... Alright, Mary Beth Shaw. Ooh, look! There's a recipe for best ever brownies! I know she has another book. Can anyone tell me what it is off the top of their head? Because it doesn't tell me here what her other book is, which is weird. 'Tis strange. This was from 2011. Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, see, when she, like I said, when she was doing hers, she did all the blues, and instead of starting with brown, there's their first picture. So mine turned out dark because I started dark to begin with. I should have done a lighter color on the background and then worked up the darker colors. Her other book is with her stencils. If somebody could get the name for me, it would really help. I have, maybe I have it in this bag, actually. I've got books everywhere, my friends. So that was the one thing I wasn't prepared. I should have had another book ready to show you. No, I don't have it close. Dun, 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 dun. Stencil Girl Mixed Media Techniques for Making and Using Stencils. Oh, it is called Stencil Girl. Okay, thanks, Carrie. Maybe this is her first book and that's the second. I might be getting it confused. There's a point I need to write down. Part of, you know, in my Midori there, in my book, I gotta write down a list of all the books I have because, I got a lot and sometimes, then you don't remember them or don't remember if I have it already or not. Alright. So I'm just going to stick this in here, but I do want to say that this was Flavor for Mixed Media. By Mary Beth Shaw. And I'll say that it's from page, where I say 30. So then I know that, that's what inspired me. Oh, here we go. What time is it? It's only 8:30? 1 second. Bella? No bark. No bark. Excuse me about that. So it's nice. I mean, this is the type, we're looking at something that I practice to do for a painting. So I'm not going to turn this into like, what I would say an art journal page where I'm going to put a title or whatnot. Although this technique, what I learned here now, right, the mixing of different alcohol inks and whatnot, I can incorporate into my art journaling. Listen to her. Listen to her. So that's a sticky page. I'm definitely going to have to find, where's my wax paper? Bella, enough! Definitely going to put some wax paper in between these pages. So we can try it. We want to try it again? Oh my gosh, 1 second. Bella, what is wrong? Give it up. No bark. Go lay down. Sheesh. Yeah, exactly, Carrie. Exactly. How long did that take me? We did a lot of chatting in between. We can try, let's gesso this bad boy first anyways and see. Hi, Marie. Hi, Annette. Good to see you guys. We'll start again. This time I'll use some lighter colors. We'll see what the difference is. And this time I won't go necessarily step by step. Maybe, let's see if I remember. We'll start with some gesso, though. This time I'm going to try to get the gesso all the way to the edges. And we'll try with some lighter colors. Let's try completely different colors. Like, why is she barking? I apologize, guys. I know. Here comes the hate mail. Bella, enough. Every time I open the door, she's just looking at me. Just looking. Alright, we'll try to do a little bit quicker. And that's not a very clean brush. Maybe we'll do like purples and blues or something instead of the brown. Surely I have enough colors and stuff. I don't know how loud it is. You can hear that. Here we go. I don't know what she wants from me. Shh. She definitely sounds sad though. No, now she's... You hear her? Let me in. Oh my gosh. What is your problem? Where's Asha? Is that why you're barking? Where's Asha? Asha! Come on, Asha! Did Asha get out? And that's why Bella's barking at me? Oh no, she's there. Are you being good or bad? Go lay down. Oh, I think that's why Bella was barking. We shall see. Sorry, guys. I think what happened was... Bella's a big fraidy cat. Well, she's not a cat. She's a chug, which is half chihuahua, half pug. I think she had her milk bone when Simon left. Gives her a milk bone. And I think she dropped it. And she dropped it in between where I have my chair and my big yoga ball. And she's afraid of the yoga ball. Like, she won't go near it. If the yoga ball happens to move, then she starts barking like crazy. So I just called Asha. Then I just saw Asha take her bone. Oh, for sure that's what it was. Yep. Now she'll be fine. Now she'll be fine. Okay, let's try this. He's done. Oh, you know what? Maybe this time let's try scratching into this. I just got a piece of, I don't even know where I got this dowel piece of thing. Make some squirrels in the scratching. That might be interesting, you know. Then some of the inks might pool in there or whatnot. So I did a thicker coat of gesso. I'm just making marks. I'm not even making proper swirls. Right? Some of it is going to be covered up. Just for a little texture. What can we use now as some collage fodder? Let us think. Let me think. Some stuff here. I'll look at my bin that has a little bit of... There. Yeah, all she wanted, she was too afraid. She dropped her bone. And then she was too afraid to get the bone because she's afraid of the ginormous yoga ball. So that's why she was barking. Alright. So I have some bits and pieces in here. Let's see what we can find to use. If anything. Now this is a random... Whoa! This is a random box. Some stuff from Joyce's. Why the heck do I have a thing from a Band-Aid box? The giant ball will squish her. That's probably what she thinks, Colleen. That's probably what she thinks. Some corrugate. Let's try not to cause the craft-a-lanch. Alright, no questions for me. Some are good, some are bad.